السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. This is Engineer Ziad Al-Basir in a new tutorial in how to develop an overhead cost project. Usually, most of the companies, they don't do that. The overhead calculations are in the financial department using Excel. However, to manage the team productivity and KPIs for this productivity, you need to know how much cost they are doing in your overhead. Design team in particular, most of the time, they are not overloaded or they don't have enough work. They are not booked for projects. This team, who they are a permanent team in the project, in the corporate, we don't have a specific project to book on most of the time. And if they book in a project, they just give this project cost more overload, which doesn't give us the real estimate how much this project is costing us really. And from corporate perspective, we encourage the team to book on the overhead when they don't really do work on projects, just to monitor this. Of course, most of the people will try to avoid putting their time on the overhead and show themselves busy. But sorry, I don't agree that. And as a technical manager, I should monitor this behavior and give them the exact hours to book inside the projects. The other extra hours should go to the overhead. Now, the overhead cost, it's there. They are permanent team. Some people might, try to think, oh no, if I am overhead, that means I will be terminated. In most cases, it doesn't happen unless the situation is really bad. However, for design team planning and cost control, this is a model I am proposing to the organizations, especially consultants and design teams and permanent staff organizations, to monitor their team's performance. The overhead cost is a very good KPI for the organization after all. However, even booking in the overhead, it doesn't mean it's bad, because if the team is booking their hours in the projects and creating profit, maybe it's also working and the corporate is getting profit enough to survive. So let's see how it goes. What I'm planning to do is creating this schedule as an overhead for all technical team, who they are not assigned to a particular project, and they can book on it when they don't have a booking in the project's contracts. So I created the organization chart for this corporate from the CEO and CEO, okay? COO, sorry. So here we have PMO manager and PMO manager as a future model. We will do in the future in the videos after a few weeks. However, we are talking now about typical design office, who they have in their operation construction team, who they are supervision, not a builder, not a contractor builders and constructors. They are just a supervision team. And these people usually, most of the time, build and book in an existing project. Unless the company, as a strategy, they are keeping a construction department manager and a project manager, one or two standby. Most of the time, they have that. And then we have a technical team, which includes most of the known departments or important departments: architectural, civil, electrical, mechanical, and draftsman. And notice that I put the draftsman as a pool, so different to the departments, because we need them to work on everything, not just specialize in one. Even some of them will be specialized in one discipline, but they should accept working in other disciplines if requested. Now, this is the overall structure we have. Let's see the chart view here, and let's see how it goes for this organizational chart. If you see this organizational chart, you will see the CEO. Let me remove this down from here. Okay, so we have the construction team, something different, and we have the technical team. Okay, in the technical team, we have the departments: architect, civil, electrical, mechanical, and draftsman. Now, just to tell you how we add this, now, if you notice, this is the position or the role, and this is the name. This CO might be a name. I'm just putting an indication of the department for your knowledge and understanding. Otherwise, I put a name here, and the position will be in the top. Okay? So if I go to the resources, and let us copy this architect team and paste it like this. It tells us, do you want to specify the resource information to be copied, sub-resources, role assignment, prices? Yes, keep it all, I don't mind. Okay, now it gives us this. Now let me change the architect to QS department. Okay, so we establish now a QS department. QS department manager. Okay, and the rule is, let me see, do we have a QS team here? Not yet. Okay, I will create the rule for the QS later on and show you how we do. Okay. So we'll keep this as it is now. We go to this one here and change architect to QS, so senior QS engineer, and the name, let's name it QS engineer, and architect also QS. And let's remove this one. Let's remove this one. And QS engineer. Now, if you notice this rules, primary rules is not there. So let's go and to the rules also and explain how to create these rules. Let's copy the same. Let's copy the same architects. It doesn't matter, but let's copy the same architect department, okay? Here, architect manager, copy, and then we go to the technical manager. Under the technical manager or the technical department, we paste it. Let's do the same exercise here and change it to QS manager. QS. Okay. And here also QS engineer. Okay. And here QS engineer, and this one also to QS engineer. Now we did that. We go back to the QS department and let us it shows the right position or right role. Now senior QS and QS engineer. Okay. Now we have here senior architect. In this one, it's the architect engineer correctly. Civil engineer, manager, civil manager, senior civil. Okay, so now we have all the rules and we have all the disciplines in this organization. Again, this organization is a consultant. So we are monitoring their cost control for the overhead. They are a permanent staff and this is their permanent employee. And they have in hand some projects. Maybe they will be sufficient for 6 months or 9 months, but in all cases, it's not full load all the time, and they have to book as required. And the technical manager has to be sure that they can book only in the project they are working on for the hours assigned, and if they have any extra hours, they have to go and book in the overhead. And this is what we will try to do now, monitoring this overhead. Now, how we do this monitoring of the overhead? Number one, we create the schedule in the previous training video. Please review the other previous video, how to plan the overhead schedule. And we create full schedule for the full year. For the full year, we have a schedule here. And we put it by hours for the full week. So every week has 40 hours. And because the reporting, as explained in the other video, please refer to the other video. I don't want to repeat the same ones. Now let's add the technical team, full technical team inside this activities. So if I click here, it showed me the assign resource dialog window. In this dialog window, I go to the technical team, technical manager. Actually, I will do all the ops, including the operation manager. Okay, from the operation manager down. Okay, so what you do, see what I'll do? I will just highlight them all. Okay, and come here and assign all activities and highlight all activities. And I will say assign. Now, all this operation team for the technical management and the construction standby team, who they are also in the overhead, will be assigned to the resource for this project, which is the overhead project for 2018. Now, I already add some costs in the for the resources. Now, this cost is just assumptions and the simple costs. It's a very simple cost, very low, just to monitor it so we can understand what's going on. I didn't go for the real cost, because if I go for the real cost, big numbers will jump, and I don't want that. I want you and me to understand what happened in every activity easily, because the costs for them are small numbers, so we can calculate by our minds simple. For example, if I have a resource costing us in the overhead $5 an hour, $5 an hour in the day, 5 by 80, that's $40 a day. For 5 days, that's $200 a week. It's simple calculations. Now we have the full team now assigned to these activities. It takes time because we are doing a trick here by adding all the resources at once for all activities at once. Now in the real life, we have to go back and edit the budgeted hours for each labor step by step. Okay. However, there is other also trick I will teach you, but later on. Now we have the duration by hour. So we see 40 hours, which means a full week. And we have budgeted hours and units is 40. However, this is 40 as one resources. Now, when we add all the resources, the budgeted hours will be more in this duration, okay? Which means it's calculated that this team are full-time booked to the overhead. Now, if we go for less than this hours, that means the KPI for the overhead is good. And if we do it also for the resource one by one, we will monitor it and see that the KPI for this resource is good too. For example, in the first week, which is 32 hours, or this week in front of us, week 47, which is 40 hours. If the KPI for this total budgeted labor, for example, let's say 1,000, the budgeted labor units is it's 1,000. And when we put the actuals, it is less than 1,000, then there is a good KPI for this week for the organization at total, and we can go one by one for the resources to check their efficiency on how they are doing their work. However, I need to highlight that the KPI for the overhead is not to be taken alone, because we have to take it also with the other hours assigned to the other projects, because the other projects will cover the cost for the overhead inside it to a certain limit. So the overall management of this resource, it might indicate with both KPIs that this resource covered its cost and profit. Okay? Of course, the aim of any organization is zero booking in the overhead. However, the fact sometimes, no, it doesn't. You can't just put a target zero overhead booking and load the projects and give you indication about the cost of the projects, which is wrong, because people booking without really working. I need the real hours working in the design team in particular, so it gives me indication for future prices, for future projects. Okay, so this is a very good method to control. So how this works, after we put the full team on the overhead cost, this gives me first the overhead cost budget for this year, for this team, which is the operation team, who they are a full-time employees by the company. So I know now how much overhead they are costing me. This gives me a budget estimate. Number two, I can add another cost, which is the planned cost, which include overhead plus profit, which is to be the rate number two. Now it's finished. Of course, it takes time because it's the overhead. It's a big process. Now, if you see this, it was it was 40 hours in this week. Now it's 1,040 hours budgeted for all resources, from the CEO in the operation till the draftsman. Of course, there is other advancements we can add, but see how much it's simple to add this. I mean, I can finish all of this completely for the full organization in 4 hours, full day with a check and try and errors until finished. And I will get in one day a full estimate in Primavera for the overhead cost for this organization. Simple. And what is the overhead cost here per hour, for example? If I see resource number one overhead per hour, it's the calculated cost for all entitlements, including salaries, benefits, car, health insurance, fees, accommodation, whatever cost it had been there calculated and divided by the total hours on the year, which is for 2018 is 2,088 hours in this working year without the public holidays because it's paid, okay? Divided by this hours to get us the cost per hour. So it's similar to everyone. Even if you want, I will do the CEO. One of the issues is in the big people or big positions, they can't book 1 hour as a total for one project because it will be very big for that. So what we do, we play in the price unit by dividing it to the unit, so it will take less than 1 hour because Primavera give us 1 hour estimate only to cost. It can't give us less than 1 hour. If I go for that, I go, okay, if I want him, if his cost for this 1 hour is 1,000, and to let him book only 15 minutes, then 1,000 divided by 4, this is 250. Then I put his unit rate in our calculation background as 15 minutes. Okay, so 250 price unit. Now we have all the team booked in. Simple, very fast. It doesn't take us a long time. Okay, and if I go now, I will do another trick to reduce this hours for this team. Now this is a full-time team for them. Okay, like they are working full-time in all projects. If I go to one of my favorite views, and let's say cost resource view, and here we have the full teams view with their hours. Okay, all the teams are here and their cumulative S-curve. Now, of course, because we are putting them all equal hours, which is not totally true, okay? Not totally true. We will do in another video how we can reduce this hours for the team easily, but for the overhead, it should be the same. Next video will show you what will be the look of this histogram comparing to the actuals, which is very important for all of us, okay? So we put here the resources. We have the schedule here as a baseline. We go to projects, assign baseline, and go for this, assign, and then maintain a baseline, and we assign this one as a baseline. And from now on, we can monitor the permanent staff as a full-time cost and according to the overhead cost. Thank you very much for watching. This is Engineer Ziad Al-Basir, wishing you the best. Thank you very much, and please subscribe to the channel to watch the new videos. In the new video, we will look at the actuals and how much change we will have in this video, in this chart. Thank you very much. Any comments, most welcome. Please write it in the comments, send us emails, and subscribe to the channel, subscribe to the website, galaxyebbm.com. Thank you very much. Thank you.